If you have flat beads, and then you have some round beads, you can make some really fun earrings like this. Take your wire, put it through all the beads like that, and then bend it this way, and then turn the bend into a loop and into a loop like that. And then take each of these wires and crisscross them until they come together, spiral, and then go back, and then scarf, and boom, there's your piece. That's your earring. Got that? So we're gonna wrap this around, wrap it around, till it comes like that. Gonna wrap this one around, wrap it around, till it comes like, I guess like that. And then we're gonna make these two kind of spiral around each other till they get super cute, and then they go right back up, and then they scarf right there, and that one goes down there, scarfs right there, boom. And then you have this really cute piece, and then you just put the earring hook on it, right? And then at the bottom, you can just leave it, or you can hang some little chain, or you can hang like another set of beads if you want, like a dangly piece, whatever you want to do, but it's super cute, so let's do that. Woo! These are kind of tan and plain. It's some kind of a desert sandstone, some kind of a jasper, I think, but they're perfect. They're each about 1.5 centimeters long and 1 centimeter wide, roughly, or like you could say 3/4 inch long and 1/2 inch wide kind of thing. So they go perfect with some 8mm unikite and then some 6mm, whatever this chalky blue-green bead is that I happen to have, but I like the color patterns. I feel like they work really well, especially if you're gonna do some dark copper, like antique copper, yes. This would also work well with vintage bronze. Vintage bronze has more yellowy brown, whereas antique copper has more reddish, yummy brown. This is my favorite color to wire wrap with. Plus, the copper tends to be smoother and softer and easier to work with than the silver of the same exact caliber, you know, gauge size and everything. I suggest 20 for this, and I think you can get the whole thing done with probably only about 1 foot. And to be on the safe side, I might take a little more than 1 foot, maybe 14 inches, which is like, I don't know, 34 centimeters, somewhere around there. Stack the beads on just like this in the middle of your wire. Make sure they're in the very middle or close to it. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Just kind of make sure you kind of have kind of the same amount on both sides, and then give it a hard right angle bend. Whoops, push them real tight, and another hard right angle bend. Opposite ways are good because then you'll see everything will kind of flow. And take your round nose pliers, get them in there nice and cute, and give yourself a cute little wire going around like that. See that? Ooh, that's so cute. Now, it doesn't look cute yet, but it's, watch this, you can roll it until you get it just. How much of a loop do you want? You want enough that you can come up and give it a little scarf. So this is about the size of a 4mm bead, maybe a little bigger. And just to lock it in, hold this like this and give it a half turn. Lock it in. You can also use your pliers to do that, but I like using my fingers because it shows off my strength. And then I have all the women looking at the muscles of my hands and just being like, oh, look at the biceps on that index finger. Oh, he could like crush a walnut in there. So when you bend this, you'll find this down here wants to bend with you because the whole thing wants to bend. So you just bend it back, just tell it who's boss, and put it back where it was. Get your nice little right angle again, and then do the same thing. Just again, just kind of hold it just like that. Everything's straight, perpendicular, and then just wrap the wire around. Whee! How cute! Look how cute! And then kind of, you know, pull it out and look like, again, it's not that cute yet, but we take it carefully and we roll it into place until it's just the size we want. If it's too small, you just pull it back out. It's really easy. Now you want to pinch it and get it nice and straight. Make sure it's straight with this side. Make sure everything is straight. It'll want to wobble and wiggle, and make sure it's tight too. Make sure this stuff isn't moving around too much. And again, take this, and here's how you can do it with your pliers. Just take the pliers, hold it still, and 1/4 Well, you want a whole half turn. There you go, till it comes back around facing the same way. And again, you'll find this one tried to turn with you, so turn that back and be like, I'm boss, you're not boss. Why are I tell you what to do? And once you have these two like this, oh, they're so cute, going completely opposite directions, then you begin your fun journey for the two pieces to meet in the middle. They're like, they're going on a date, but they're not sure. Each one doesn't want to go to the other's hometown, so they pick a neutral place in the middle that's a big open public space where they both feel safe to meet for the first time. So this is very natural. Take this wire like this, just kind of feel it wrap around, kind of falls into the crevice between the two beads. And then you wrap it again like this, diagonal across, and then it falls in the crevice between the next two beads. And then you pull it out and you end up about right there where you've crossed your big fat flat bead. Same with this guy, coming around, and move this out of your way if you have to. It's coming around like that. See how that works? It's so intuitive. It just it keeps falling into the crevice behind the bead until it comes like that. And this is what you want. Voila. Now these cuties can just wrap around each other. Now you can do any kind of cool pattern here. You have a lot of space. I pretend like this is like your canvas. When you have a nice flat stone to work with, it's your canvas, and the wire is your paint, and your painting. You can paint pretty designs. But I'm gonna do something simple, what I've done in a lot of videos if you watch my older ones, where you just cross them carefully one at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there, and that way you try to position them in the middle. Now you can position them at the top, bottom, you can try fancier things, but I'm gonna do just the very middle, and then I'm gonna press down so I can start to get this spiral. Now see, that goes across, and then this one comes across this way. So first they make two loops going around each other, and they're going the same direction. They're chasing each other. In this case, it's counterclockwise. If you ended up doing it the opposite way, it would be clockwise. It doesn't matter either way, as long as they're both going the same direction. And then if you want a really tight spiral, just keep pulling. If you want a loose spiral with space in between, which I really think looks pretty, then you want to hold it with your finger, with your fingernail maybe, so you can get that space in there. And then you keep pressing it tight against the stone, so you get that space right there. See that? Now you have a spiral with some pretty space in it. Now it's still floating above the stone way more than I like, but that will change because we're gonna push it down, lock it down, and we're gonna come back and wrap it here. Now what do we do here? You can wrap it the same exact way, but then you'll get X's going all the way up. If you're okay with that, then do that. You can get X's, it's not gonna hurt you. But if you don't wanna do X's, if you think this little diagonal is cute and you wanna not get too busy, I would just pull it all the way up till you're just inside the crevice of the bead again, and then come around this way. So you're giving it like a little necktie instead of doing the diagonal, and then come all the way up here. You're still doing your kind of diagonals, but you're hiding them in the back. And now we're gonna scarf this baby, and it's just so easy, it's so intuitive. Notice I haven't even hardly touched my pliers. It's all fingers, it's relaxing, it's enjoyable. And once you feel like you've scarfed it high enough, pinch it up into a little kind of a diagonal going across the loop, cut it with just a little tab, leave yourself a little tab. Careful, this will shoot you in the face, so close your eyes unless you have glasses. Oh, that time it didn't shoot. And then now you take your needle nose and you give it, kind of pinch it right till it's hovering right above that little bowl you made, and then press it in. Press it in, like that. You're kind of squeezing, you're using this for leverage, and you're actually squeezing and pinching it in, but you're like, damn, shove it in. That sharp end is deep in there. It'll never come out to scratch anybody unless somebody tries to dig it out with needle nose pliers, and why would they do that? So look at this. Okay, it got a little out of shape. Bend it back, get everything straight, and do the same thing with this one. Come around. Now remember, we don't want to make X's, so we're going to go straight up here, and we're just going to give it like a necktie in between the beads, and then we're going to come straight up again to the loop, and we're going to do the same thing. Now the cool thing about this particular piece is it doesn't matter if you put the tab on the front or the back, it's just wherever you feel comfortable where it would fit in. The cool thing about this thing is, this is a cool earring. Just put the earring hook, boom. Or you can dangle more stuff if you want a really long earring. Or bend it like this and put a chain and it's a bracelet. Or put some more links of beads and you have the middle of a beautiful bracelet. Really funky. And I love these earth tone beads. The sand color, the olive green, the more darker bluish green. They all fit together nicely. I picked them very carefully. I kind of wanted a deep, kind of a, not bright, but like a very faded red to go in here. I couldn't find one that was the right color and size, so I went for the blue-green. But like, I like these earth tone colors, and I feel like it makes it very kind of, I don't know, exotic. So this would make actually a great bracelet. I think I should really just make it into a bracelet. But I said earrings at the beginning, and so you just make a second one and you have earrings. Bam, so easy. But never be afraid to change midway if you see something that looks better. So bracelet it shall be. Let's just use some chain to finish this up, and maybe a lobster clasp, that's it. Or maybe we can take the extra pieces that we're gonna use for the other earring and do some little side pieces. That'll be cute, some little side pieces. And then we'll add the chain. Yes! Super easy, just do what you're just doing, but only with a lot less wire and these little side pieces. Doop-a-doo-ba-doo, doop-a-doo, doop-a-doo-ba-doo, doop-a-doo-ba-doo. You can use smaller loops in this case because now I'm just going to wrap that around tight like that. That does the same effect as if I just twisted it. It's either way. I'm going to do the same thing here. Hold it about halfway, right like that. Roll it. Now I want them about the same. So I'm going to pull that out a little bit so they're about the same. And come around like that, like that. Ah, yeah. All right. And then we'll just get these straightened out. Wrap it around. Ooh, I have just enough. Almost gave myself not enough. Look at that. Ooh. And this one, I want to go the same way. So this is another thing you can do. You can get like a double strand like that. It's super cute. And whoa, almost didn't make it. All right, give yourself a little more than I did. Whew, that was close. Just enough to tuck it. Whoa. Yeah. Now we got to make sure that that never comes out. So we got to tuck it in right there. There we go. Get back. If you have to start over, just get another piece of wire. Don't be stubborn like me. But you get the idea. You get this double strand, super cute. I think I'm started over. Okay, I have 8 inches this time. That should be plenty. Now, if you want to do that double strand diagonal going the same way, rather than do X's, the wire sometimes wants to go X's. You got to kind of switch directions as you start it like this and make sure it's going the same, and then follow it around so it follows the pattern of, see that? So it's a little bit not completely intuitive right there, and then you can kind of pinch that a little tighter if you want. But basically whatever you do, if you do make X's, that's cute too. You know, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. You don't even need to do this. You could just basically just make a loop in a loop. You don't need to do all this extra stuff. But whatever, it's fun. Now, if you do make totally closed loops that can't be opened again, you're gonna need jump rings to connect them, which is fine. Just make sure you have jump rings the same color. Now, if it's a bracelet, you want to bend this so it fits nicely on the wrist. Yes, and you even bend this a little bit, just a little bit, so it also fits just the way you want. And I think that you might want to use very small jump rings, so it is, or whatever you want it to, it doesn't matter. And having a nice big spool of delicious antique copper chain always helps. Yum, 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 yummy. And a lobster clasp. This is a little one. You want a big lobster clasp for a bracelet, but this is all I have right now that matches, so it shall have to do. Now what you want to do if you're going to use a lobster clasp and big pieces of chain, where the lobster clasp could clasp any particular link, is take advantage of that. Make the smallest connection, which would be like that, to be the smallest wrist size, which for most people is basically about a 5. So I don't think I did that. I think this is actually from here to here more of a 6, but try to get it a 5 like that, which means I would probably have to cut some of these links out. But if you could get it a 5 there, that's a small wrist size for most people. And then give yourself enough chain where you can get it to one of the largest wrist sizes, which would be more like a 9. And between 5 to 9, you cover about 95% of all people who might want to wear this bracelet. And that way, if you go to sell it or give it as a gift, you don't have to worry about it not fitting, because the person can clasp it wherever they want and have it fit them just the way they want. And then the extra dangle, women tend to not care if there's a little bit of extra dangly piece, as long as it's not too much. It's kind of like having a little charm. They kind of like it. If it's too much of a dangle and you know who you're giving it to, you can always cut that off later if you're present with your wire cutters. And that's pretty much it. Super cute. Wow. If you don't have really fat, chunky chain like this, if you have very thin chain, then you can put a string of larger jump rings at the end to make it adjustable. That would work too. All right.